Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 6 starts now.
Park 50 feet away from other vehicles. A surreal bit of advice for some Chevy Bolt owners after a string of battery fires. We'll look at the issue and how it affects GM's plans moving forward. Doc.
Tomorrow is a critical meeting of the FDA's vaccine advisory panel to consider the issue of booster shots. I'm Dr. Frank McGeorge. Coming up, I'll show you the data they'll be debating and what their decision could mean for millions of Americans.
Sex assault once again in the spotlight at Eastern Michigan University as another attack sparks protests and a lawsuit against the school expands. Justice for survivors and a safe campus. Those are the demands from students who gathered today to protest not just the latest sexual assault, but also the school's recent history of them.
They also want two fraternities banned, and that is a decision EMU is considering. Defender Sean lay live after attending that protest in Ypsilanti. And Sean, the university has put some new prevention efforts in place, though students say that's not enough.
Absolutely. We're going to highlight what the university is doing about these sexual assaults. However, we're here digging deeper and listening closely to students right before this protest and afterwards. Look, the university alerting students that there's been yet another sexual assault. One victim, two different attackers, one night and then the following morning. So students are telling us they simply do not feel safe right now. EMU students protesting late today, saying the university has mishandled sexual assaults on campus and haven't put a stop to drunken fraternity parties linked to several of the attacks on women.
It makes me not want to go to this school anymore. Like, I'm not proud to go here, and it's like disgusting how they've been protecting these people, and we're walking around on campus with these people. No female feels safe on this campus.
EMU also facing lawsuits from 24 women and men alleging they were victims of sexual assaults linked to out-of-control fraternity parties. That case is now growing. More survivors are coming forward.
Case has grown. We just received an email this morning from the president that they're investigating Delta and ASP based on this last incident. But, Sean, when you think about it, why didn't they do that a long time ago? Last year.
Today, the university sent students a list of 7 new initiatives the school is taking to address the problem, including required annual Title IX training for students, expanded bystander training program for students, and a Care for Survivors program. But right now, the fraternities in question remain.
They should do something about the sexual assaults because females don't feel safe walking around on the campus.
Back here live in Ypsilanti at EMU spokespersons say they're taking this very, very seriously. In fact, 2 fraternities under the microscope here. They are reviewing the university as every single complaint that's coming in about the 2 fraternities. They are evaluating, Devin and Sandra, the fraternity's future here on campus. Back to you.
All right, Sean.
The fallout continues tonight after State Rep Jewel Jones is charged with sneaking a handcuff key into jail. The Inkster lawmaker removed today from all of his legislative committee assignments. 2 days ago, in fact, Jones was taken into custody accused of violating his bond as he awaits trial for drunk driving and other charges. Prosecutors believe he brought a handcuff key into the jail and they slapped him with new charges yesterday. Jones returns to court tomorrow on the drunk driving case that stems from a traffic stop in Livingston County. And Speaker of the House Jason Wentworth released a statement today after removing Jones from the committees. It reads in part, and this is a quote, "That behavior hit a new low yesterday when he appears to have made a bizarre attempt to escape from jail." And this from House Democratic leader Donna Lisinski of Scioto Township. "Our priority is providing him with the support he needs to meet these challenges and stay healthy. We are focused on ensuring that Rep. Jones has a fair pathway to accountability so we can move forward together."
State Rep Steve Marino speaks out as state police investigate claims of domestic abuse by a fellow state lawmaker. Marino says he regretted not disclosing his relationship with State Rep Marie Manoogian to leadership. He maintains, though, the relationship ended more than a year ago. In a statement today, Marino says, and here's the quote, "I will be clear, the insinuations made are nothing more than politically motivated character assassination that I am confident will conclude as a waste of the public's time," end of quote. Marino's been stripped of his committee assignments, though, as he goes through the legal process.
A town hall meeting on the gas leak in Flat Rock is just now getting started at this hour, and it follows this afternoon's open house, which was at the Flat Rock Community High School. Officials say the gas has been cleared from the sewer system. 1,100 homes impacted by the leak from the Ford plant, but people still have a lot of questions about what went wrong and what may happen in the future.
Was this allowed to happen, that there weren't alarms, that this alarming amount of gas is leaking out, whether it's in the soil or it's in the sewer or whatever?
Well, we want to know if we're going to be healthy.
I just want to know who's going to protect our property values and who's going to protect our health short-term and long-term.
Lots of questions. Ford sending $500 checks to people in those evacuation zones. Officials do say it could be several weeks before people are eventually allowed back inside their homes.
Today's just been a really gorgeous one, most of the day outdoors.
It's been beautiful. Yeah. Andrew's here with more on the numbers that prove it. Hi, Andrew.
Good evening to both of you, and the gorgeous weather continues, and here are those neighborhood numbers for you. Temperatures that are easily in the 70s, mild to warm and still comfortable everywhere. 71, one of the cooler spots over in Flint, but that's still t-shirt weather, right? 75 for our neighbors over in Lapeer, no rain, and 73 degrees in Monroe, and outside, no rain, but nothing but blue skies. Temperatures right now mostly in the 70s everywhere, 76 over at Metro Airport with a gentle breeze out of the south, keeping us warm as we go through this evening, and mild later on tonight after sunset. We're looking at 45% relative humidity, so it is comfortable everywhere. Fair and mild with temperatures remaining in the 70s before 8 p.m. Sunset this evening is just before 8 o'clock at 7:41, and then temperatures slip into the cooler 60s just before midnight. But after that, it gets even cooler still, but then a lot warmer into tomorrow and this weekend. More on your weekend forecast and your 7-day forecast coming up.
With so many Americans wondering about booster shots for COVID, tomorrow is a critical meeting of the FDA's Vaccine Advisory Panel.
Sure is. The group of outside experts set to discuss whether or not to recommend a third dose of the Pfizer vaccine as a booster shot. The FDA's briefing material and Pfizer's submission have both been made public.
And we do happen to know someone who has been reading all of that. Dr. Frank McGeorge here to talk about what we can expect tomorrow, possibly, right, Doc?
Yes, Andrew and Evan, there is a lot potentially riding on the outcome of this meeting since the Biden administration has already essentially promised booster doses to the general public. But right now, that decision is just not a slam dunk, and there's lots of data to be considered. Data favoring booster doses is plentiful, especially in light of an Israeli study recently published in the New England Journal of Medicine and part of the submission to the FDA. It found among people over 60 who received their initial 2 doses 5 months earlier, rates of confirmed COVID-19 and severe illness were substantially lower among those who received a booster dose of the Pfizer vaccine. Other data from Israel and the United States suggest that immunity decreases over time. One analysis found people vaccinated in January of 2021 had a 2.26-fold higher risk for breakthrough infection versus those vaccinated in April of 2021, suggesting a drop in protection over time that could be overcome with a booster. Now, in addition to the effectiveness of a potential booster, the FDA committee will also need to consider safety. The data being presented to the FDA panel does not raise any significant safety considerations. The main thing of note was a slight increased rate of lymph node swelling with the booster. Although the sample size was small, no serious adverse effects were seen. Now, there are other considerations in play, though. A recent article published in the journal Lancet and co-authored by 2 FDA scientists questioned the need for boosters at this time, especially given that much of the rest of the world still remains unvaccinated. Now, the FDA does not have to follow the advice of its advisory panel, but it generally does. Now, the CDC's advisory panel, called ACIP, is also scheduled to meet next week on Wednesday and Thursday to discuss boosters, and that is actually 2 days after the Biden administration had hoped to begin distributing those boosters.
Yeah, and we know there's still so much to sort through here. Why is there so much disagreement, Frank, over these boosters?
Well, you know, Sandra, everything about this virus is new, and new data is constantly being generated. And of course, depending on the person's interpretation of the data, reasonable people can come to different conclusions. Now, ultimately, I honestly hope we can come to an absolute truth, but frankly, the steps along the way are just messy, and all we can do is make the best judgments with the data that we have at the moment.
Yeah, and we'll be following it tomorrow for sure. Thanks, Frank. Devin?
A really frightening and frustrating proposition for a lot of Chevy Bolt owners. Their vehicle is recalled, and now General Motors is upping its warnings about possible fires during charging, like the one seen in this picture from Georgia. Our Binsteader Rob Maloney live tonight with more on what's going on here and what GM is trying to do about it. And trying to fix this problem, Rod, has become really frustrating for GM.
It's frustrating and it's expensive, Devin, $1 billion, and it's coming between GM and its battery maker, LG Chem. Now, Bolt owners will tell you that one of the reasons they have their vehicle is the ease of refueling, right? Well, not anymore, not with General Motors, and all of this has the owners of these vehicles deeply concerned. The pictures are nothing short of frightening. From Vermont to Florida and other places in between, Bolts are burning, sometimes inside the garage. There are only about 140,000 on the road right now. From the 2017 to the 2022 model years, GM's now recalled all of them. But it's not fixing them, and it's not building new ones right now either, because the company doesn't know what's wrong with the batteries. Now add to that, GM's telling Chevy Bolt customers who call into the customer service line, quote, in an effort to reduce potential damage to structures and nearby vehicles, in the rare event of a potential fire, we recommend parking on the top floor or an open-air deck and park 50 feet or more away from another vehicle. Additionally, we still request you do not leave your vehicle charging unattended, even if you're using a charging station in a parking deck, end quote. GM is also saying that owners should only charge to 90% and then don't run the vehicle below 70 miles left on a charge. To Guidehouse Insights auto analyst Sam Abel-Samid, this is a serious problem for GM.
The fact that they're now saying you got to watch this thing, monitor it while it's being charged, and as soon as it's done charging, move it outside, put it 50 feet away from the building, that's very inconvenient for customers, and indicates that there's perhaps a more serious risk here than we had previously thought.
Now, Sam tells me that he says, look, these are growing pains with the new technology. He doesn't want to diminish the problem here, but this kind of thing can be expected. We've seen it with Tesla as well. In the meantime, General Motors and LG Chem are scrambling engineering teams trying desperately to figure out what's going wrong in the manufacturing process. Back to you.
Let's, Rod, back to what's going wrong in these fires. They're starting to drill down on exactly what the problem has been there.
Well, General Motors is saying that it's a torn anode tab and a folded separator. Now, that doesn't make much sense, but if you think of the battery as a bit of a battery sandwich, it looks like this. This is your plastic separator, and it goes in together like this, and then it has the tabs coming off. Well, somewhere in the middle here, they're getting a crinkle. That crinkle is causing a short. That short is heating up, and they say that's what's causing the fire.
Interesting. Yeah. All right, Rod.
Still ahead, what would you do with a giant chunk of land in Livingston County? This chunk right here. Some car buffs have big plans for something they're calling a motorsports gateway.
That's coming up. First, let's check in with Hank.
Mask required on board, social distancing in place in airports, but what about requiring a vaccine?
I'm Hank Winchester. Help me, Hank, tonight.